Space Shuttle, this is flight safety. Keep your hands on the handrail or inside the vehicle and remain seated while in motion. You are clear for launch. Have a great flight to Starport 75.
Bright suns, Glenn.
Bright suns, Chris.
Or should I say, rising moons.
Yeah, actually, rising moons at this point.
Yeah, at this point. I've been waiting a while to use that. I've had that saved up. Yeah. But I don't want to talk about that yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's hold that for a little bit later.
All right. That's fine.
Can't wait to get on that topic, but we'll do like a little an aperitif, as you will, right?
Look at that.
I like to be a little cultured.
Man, that's that actually.
Oh yeah,
has
kind of works, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. You didn't plan that one?
No, I didn't. That was just natural. That is what you call natural genius. That's not pretend genius. That's the real thing right there, buddy.
Oh wow! All right,
me and my culturedness. Yeah, I want to talk. I've been to the Disney World recently.
Have you?
Yeah, I went to.
Where'd you go?
I went to Epcot. You know, I love that Epcot. I know.
The construction park.
It really is, and it feels like it's already started. And it just so happened. So we went like this past weekend. So it was like September 6th-ish in 2019.
Sure, that sounds right.
And I happened, and we just planned. It was like a Saturday, right? We'll say it was a Saturday, and just so happened like the night before, I guess news broke that like that Sunday that I think we're gonna have to have a name for it. This wall that's been put up in the. I think it's gone up. I haven't seen any pictures. Have you?
Oh, it's up.
Oh, it is. Okay, I need to find some pictures. So the Go Away Green is in full force.
I think it's blue. Actually,
yeah, it seems like they do more of that at Epcot, and because there's no trees, there's nothing natural there to blend into. Yeah. Anyway, so the night before they announced this big wall that was going to go around basically the Fountain View Cafe and the fountain and Club Cool and basically half of Future World, right?
Yeah.
Did the rumors end up being accurate? Is that
what
yeah. It now surrounds?
Oh, yeah. It does. It does indeed. And it's a pretty tall wall from what I've seen.
Is it no climbing over?
No climbing over.
Okay. So anyway, got a little bit lucky that we were going to go on the very last day of the fountain. The fountain wouldn't be covered up till the next day, but like of Club Cool. I guess while we were there, we heard Club Cool was going to close on the Sunday, so we just happened to be the last day for that. But you know, it's this is the time of year that we really start to go to the parks more. We like Labor Day, because September's generally the crowds start to thin out. The weather's still hot as hell, but anyway, between now and like Easter, it's kind of our peak go time. You know what I mean? A little break in December because it's craziness there. But it's food and wine. I love food and wine. Actually, I hate food and wine. Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean by that.
Please
tell everybody.
Well, no, I want to see if they match. Why do you hate?
Because it's awesome, because they have so many new food things to try and all that. But then the hate part is a lot of other people like it too. And
just a few.
A lot of them also like the food and wine part of it, and they use it as
food's optional.
Yeah, food's optional. So it's like the Winter Parkians come in and make a day of it. So so it's overrun by people. It's not as quaint as it used to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, and it's so I feel like such an old when I say, well, back in my day, food and wine were like 4 booths and we liked it. But it really has to have it. It is I don't know what a good analogy is, but when it started, you were there when it's like its very first year, right? You were there.
I was. Yep. It was.
I think we saw it. What year did it start? We were. I think our first one was 97.
96, I think.
Okay, yeah. So we were there for year 2, and it was nice because it was just like this casual thing of like, hey, there's some new stands out, and like, oh, okay. And now it is like, it's like a rock concert, right? I mean, like, so the old days it was like, your favorite musician with an acoustic playing on a small stage somewhere, and now it's like this giant stadium tour thing with lighting crews and lasers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, but to their credit, I think Disney's doing a good job of trying to balance it a little bit, meaning they add more and more like locations and stuff, which helps, I think, keep the lines down a little bit and spread out the crowds a little bit more. So I enjoyed that. If you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of give my general impressions. I'm not going to go through like a chronological report. I think that's okay.
That's fine.
So, But just to kind of set it up, so it's my family, which I've talked about before. They're stuck with me, so they got to go with me. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to go out there, me, the kids, and the wife. No purpose other than, let's see, did we have any fast passes? Yes. Well, we were going to do a land combo. We did the Living with the Land and Soarin'. I was able to get.
Nice.
And yeah. So we did those. That's always fun. And see, unlike some other rides, they do the child swap in the right way, which is just, you're done with the ride and you pass the kid off and you go back on. So we did that. And then the plan was basically then just kind of go around the world and sample some food. And my older kid, he likes the passport thing, where they have like the little stickers. And so it gives them something to do to kind of collect. So he was going to do that. But before we started, I made a terrible mistake.
Uh-oh.
You want to know what it is? Just
yes.
So, what? You at this point, you might. I don't know if you'd ever make this mistake, or maybe you've done this. I don't know.
Probably.
They have this. I don't know how far back it goes. So I was at a store buying something because I'm at Disney, so I got to get rid of my money, and they had this like a scavenger hunt thing. I can't remember what it's called. Ratatouille's hide and squeak something or other. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's the idea is that you get to pay $6, but I did get an annual pass holder discount, and you have this like big trifold thing that kind of pops out, and it has like all these little round sticker locations. The stickers are probably twice the size of a quarter or something. They're on the larger side, but they go all around World Showcase and stuff. And what you're supposed to do is you find Remy in all these locations, and you have to see what ingredient he has, because it's food and wine, so it's tied in with this. So it might be a pepper in one place, or a carrot in another place, or whatever, right? And you put them in that location, and when you're done, you take it back to the festival center, and you turn it in, and you get a prize, you get a thing. The thing was, I guess I can tell you that the thing was, which I didn't know when I bought it because I wasn't paying attention, but it's like a tumbler, like a cheap plastic thing, but like like a travel mug almost, but with special food and wine designs.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got that. And I thought, that'll keep the kid busy. He likes, he'll be hunting for this thing. So we go there, and the first place we went, I don't know what you call this. This is almost like I don't know, the little appendage of food and wine that they put in this thing. It's over kind of in front of Journey, over by Club Cool, kind of in that little corner. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they build up almost like this little city, this little town over there, like a little settlement. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And but there's like, so there's like, I don't know, 6 little locations, and they're not location specific. They're like, this one's kind of vegetarian food, and this one's whatever, right? This one has only mustard in it. I don't know, whatever the theme is that they have for the thing. Right. But the one of them, I got to try one of them new meatless burgers. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I think we talked about you having one of those before. It was
yes.
It was the Impossible Burger. I think you had a Beyond Burger, right?
I had the Beyond Burger. Correct.
I had the Impossible Burger.
Okay.
And it was good. It was it was slider sized. And you could tell they dressed it up a bit. It had like a wasabi mayo kind of like thing on it, so it gave a little bit of a kick, which I love wasabi because I have a fair amount of sushi and stuff. And it was really good. So good, in fact, that we hit it again on the way out. We're like, we're still hungry. It's been 7 hours. Let's have another one. So we did that, and so that was the first place I had it. And we went looking for this Remy. Now, I would assume, I don't know what you would assume. My assumption was the little diagram or whatever we had to find with Remy was going to be like a little graphic on the menu or something, like how they have the placards at the thing that show the menu. You know what I'm talking about? I thought it was just gonna be like a little symbol on there, a little design, a little sticker or something that you'd have to look at that in each place and figure out, match it up. So we're looking around this place for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're looking all around. We split up and like, where is this stupid rat that we can't find this thing? We even there were a couple of workers there, cast members, but they weren't like they were like maintenance people. I don't know. There was like some pipe burst or something I had to figure out. But we're like, hey, do you know where this rat is? And they're like, oh yeah, look up. We're like, look up. And they're like, he's on the roof. I'm like, what do you mean he's on the roof? But sure enough, up on the roof, these things, they're like little, about a foot high, maybe a foot and a half, something like that. It's hard to tell because it's kind of far away. They're like little maquettes. Those things, the three-dimensional kind of figurines, if you will.
Yeah.
Of Remy. And so anyway, so they're hard to find. We were going around, and why I say this really kind of screwed things up was like, it was one of those things that once you start, you got to kind of finish it. Right, because even though, don't yawn, it's an important story, because you want to get the prize at the end, right?
Well, sure. I mean,
yeah. So guess how long we were looking in France for this stupid thing? Just take a guess. How long would you spend in a country trying to find a thing?
I mean, 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, probably 45 minutes.
We were there trying to
find this thing. I'm not kidding you.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay, next time your kids need something, and you're like, all right, well, we got to find this thing. I don't want to send the wrong message of just give up when things don't go your way. Well, so what?
Well, because we've done the I don't know if they still have it, the Phineas and Ferb thing, and then before that it was the Kim Possible, or I don't know. We did a couple of them.
Yeah.
And back when they actually gave you like a flip phone to
yeah.
And so we did that, and so you had to go to every land, right, that they tell you to, and you had to look for something and all that. And we didn't it was like 10 minutes it wasn't over.
Yeah, but that was like a specific location, right? You had to go like a kiosk and do something, right? Wasn't it?
No, you had to find. That was the whole point.
Oh,
you had to find the location, and then you would put in the code or whatever, and then the thing would do an action. And you would trigger it, so you'd have to go to a specific place and find, just like you had to find Remy. I mean, it's
Well, here's what made it even worse was I finally well, all right, let's ask some cast members for a clue or something, right? Because we've been looking around everywhere. I mean, I saw parts of the World Showcase I didn't even know existed. Like I'm like, how long has this been here? Right. So but the problem is apparently they moved the Remys around. So, you'd go to one cast member and he'd be like, oh, yes, it's by the perfume. That's my French accent for tonight.
Yeah, I like that.
No, it's terrible. I can usually do much better, but just go with it. But no, he apparently, he was off shift when they moved it, and now it's over by the restaurant or whatever. So it was, or they're just, effing with the guests and giving them bad information.
If it's France, they're probably doing that.
You said it, not me.
Just thinking about it.
No, it also happened in other countries as well, where it's.
Well, right now we're not the friendliest to
stop it.
The rest of our allies around the world.
Anyway, come on, let's keep this jovial. So anyway, so that's what made it a little harder was we're like, okay, and so we're looking in the wrong place, spending too much time doing that. And then the one in France, my God, it was like even when we found it, I wasn't sure we found it because it was just so hard. It was so hard to see. It blended into what the thing was. Anyway, so we did that thing. So we ended up hitting. I kid you not, we hit every single country because we had to find them in every place. Which, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever done that in my life. Because usually before we had kids, my wife and I we'd just kind of jaunt around World Showcase. We might stop halfway, and back in the good old days when we had two boats going across, then we'd take the second boat and just we never did the full circle that much. But this time we did. So in a way, it was kind of a pain because it took so much time. We were at Epcot over 10 hours, which we never do.
That's crazy for y'all.
For us, we never do.
No, I mean, seriously.
And the only reason we left was kids got to get home, get to bed and everything. Because I was like, we're almost to the point we should just stay for eliminations again and see that. But it was like, no, get home too late. Anyway, so we did the whole World Showcase. It seems like I don't track it enough to know for Food and Wine that whether they have more new things this year than they have in the past, but it seems like they do to me, or maybe they just have more new things that interest me. But we tried a fair amount of things, and they were good and expensive. So if you like to spend money, don't tally up your bill. No. Like the burger thing I mentioned, we tried, and there's this thing in Japan I want to try that I didn't on this trip. I have to go back for it, like a frothy ramen thingy.
I've seen video of that.
Oh, video? I haven't seen that. I've seen pictures. Yeah. Somebody was we took a break at Japan to kind of look in the store there, and somebody was somebody was having one of those, and it's funny because I was watching it as it started. Their family was like, "What did you get?" And it kind of started off with everybody kind of like anybody who tried it kind of making a face like, But all but one of them, like 3 or 4 of them in the family tried it. All but one of them were like, it kind of grows on you. So
yeah,
I read that in some of the other things. So I'm going to try that again.
That's what you want. That's what you want. Is something that kind of grows on you.
But Glenn, this is the point of Food and Wine, to try new things. Like along those lines, we almost never get anything in Italy or Mexico, just because, you can get that kind of food anywhere. So try things that are a little bit more unusual. Oh, what do we have? We had fried hummus. Fried hummus fries. No, spicy hummus fries in Morocco. I don't know if you like hummus or not.
I love hummus.
Okay. You would have loved this. So you need to plan a trip down to try it. But it's like little hummus strips, like elongated cubes, rectangles, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever they call that shape. Not a cube, but like a, what do they call that? Rectangular solid, something like that. Somebody out there knows. Anyway, but it's like hummus like that's been fried and has some spice on it, but then they put this nice little cucumber thing on top, which kind of cuts the heat a little bit. It was really good. Not something you probably make at home too easily, but it was pretty good. So anyway, it seemed like they had some new stuff. We did have our old standby, the cheddar cheese soup at Canada, which somebody in a review I read said it wasn't good this year, but to me it actually tasted pretty good. So maybe they just had it on a bad day. I don't know. So overall, we were there a long time. The crowds were not bad. I don't know if this is still like a lull because of the hurricane threat we recently had or what it is, but even though there were a lot of people, it was never that crowded. You know how you usually get in the back between like Morocco and Germany and just get so jammed back there? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It never felt that crowded, and this was on a Saturday, so all in all, it was pretty good.
That's awesome.
It was sad that we had to say goodbye to Club Cool. Made my son try Beverly.
Oh Lord,
because you have to. Not well. No,
yeah,
I'm not even sure he actually tasted it because he was too afraid of it. I love it. I think it's great. I wouldn't drink a giant glass of it, but to me it tastes like tonic water, which if I'm gonna imbibe, I might have a gin and tonic or vodka tonic sometimes. So it's not too far off of that for me. So, but my wife hates it, so I have a nice photo of her trying her last bit of Beverly from the park. But I heard, and you would know this, I haven't been, but apparently they have this on the top of that Coca-Cola shop at Disney Springs. Is that right?
Well, not yes, but you have to pay for it.
Oh, it's not the free.
They don't have the free. No.
I'm really surprised. Maybe I'm not. I'm kind of surprised they're getting rid of Club Cool in its entirety because people love it so. It's a.
Well, it's coming back.
It is.
Well, a version of it.
They're ripping down that building.
Well, no, but Coke's going to have a.
Oh well, then I feel better about
pavilion of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Where they'll continue on with it.
But then I thought about it after thinking about it. I thought about it some more, and I thought, it's kind of weird to have like a Coke shop in the middle of Epcot, isn't it?
For what they pay for sponsorship, it's not
no,
weird.
No, but just like there's nothing else I can think that's kind of like that, is there? That's like a brand shop within the park.
You mean like a Starbucks or anything?
No, but that's different. They're not.
Is it?
Well, no, but that came after Club Cool.
Well, it did, sure.
Yeah.
But, you go back to the original Disneyland, right? There was...
right.
They had Coke Corner there. They had...
I guess I'm not explaining myself right. Club Cool, to me, felt like a shop that happened to have the soda in it versus a Starbucks, which is like an eatery that happens to have merchandise in it. So that it kind of feels like the reverse to me. Does that make sense?
No. Well, I always saw Club Cool as, you come in to try the things, and they happen to have some shirts you can buy.
That's it. Different viewpoints. That's what makes the world great.
In fact, I think the merchant... Well, so if you go back to when it was it always Club Cool? But remember back when it was the... They had the whole facade where it looked like I love
that. That was amazing. I don't think it was called Club Cool, but
no, I know. I'm trying to think what it was called. But anyway,
I know.
What? Okay.
Ice Station Cool.
Ice Station Cool. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
I love that.
Yeah, so
you're so condescending to me.
No, thanks, because I forgot. But you're right. As soon as you said it, so you would go in, and I don't think they even had a store. It was just the tasting.
Didn't. Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And I guess I don't know. All right, I guess you're right.
But yeah,
it felt more merchandisey.
It's
me.
Always. I agree, because they had the signage outside. Ever since then. When Interventions came in, that's when they put in the Ice Station Cool and all that. And it always did. It was like, why? Because they didn't have anything like that anywhere else. Yeah. It's smack dab right there. Yeah. So it honestly kind of bugged me, but I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy.
Kind of bugged me too. I mean, I still like the tasting part, but number one, the layout of that place is, I guess when it was designed, they never figured there'd be that many people going in there to try it.
Right.
But the layout is just horrible trying to get in and go through there. And I really liked the theatrics of Ice Station Cool, that you went through the Ice Age thing and whatever. Yeah. So sad that went away.
And it was nice because you got a blast of cold air too.
It was a nice place to go get a little break. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was our day. I mean, it seems like I should have more to talk about, but honestly, it was the whole day of that scavenger hunt thing. Which once we started to figure out where they were, and I have a little confession to make. At the end, I was looking online for some places, but it worked against me a couple of times because they had moved it. And we're like walking around, and I'm just kind of pretending, going like, I don't know why, but I feel like it might be in that shop. Because there were no parameters around this thing, Glenn. This thing could have been outside on a roof. Some of them were in stores, like up on a shelf somewhere. Like they were really like all over the place. But what was funny is, I guess other people were also cheating from the same source that I was, because a couple of places we went into, they're like, are you looking for Remy? And we're like, yeah. I'm like, he moved. He's kind of in a pretzel mood. I'm like, oh, okay. Gotcha, Germany. Thanks. So it was good. So we didn't really hit too much on the, I'm not even going to try east, west, north, south. On the on the Mexico side, we didn't hit too many food stands over there. I don't know. I would doubt you're an Indian food fan, but I read that one of the Indian dishes is supposed to be pretty good, so I'm going to try that. Anyway, but we're going to try and go. So here's the other sucker thing. So, they have those, the passport, magnets.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So, this, I'm not sure how long it runs, a couple of weeks, few weeks, whatever it is the Minnie Mouse to go with the Mickey from last year.
Yep.
And then the one I really want is the next one. It's like a Remy one.
Oh, okay.
And so you get that if you go one time. Then the second time you can get the other one.
Okay.
If you go 4 times, you get a quote-unquote free set of wooden coasters that have the Minnie Mouse chef logo on them.
Okay.
And we usually go between 2 and 4 times. Yeah. So I'm like, this year we're actually like putting it in a calendar, like the weekends we might go try and get that 4th one. Just
that's awesome.
Just because. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, it was cool. So that was it. So it was kind of neat that it was kind of last day. I'm still flummoxed by the fountain. I mean, I guess they have plans for like newer, more amazing things, but it's like that fountain is just such a central part of that park. It's sad to see that go. But
yeah, and it was a big part of the grand opening way back when, because they had from all the countries they had gotten water from all the pavilions. The host countries sent water, and they filled it with that water, and it was symbolic, right? I mean, it was the coming together of everything, and then they enhanced it and had the water shows, back around the same time when they redid, Intervention, made it.
No, I didn't realize that. I thought that went back to early times.
No, it was just a constant fountain.
Oh, okay. All right.
But that was cool because they had a show every 15 minutes or whatever, and people would gather and watch it, and so yeah. I mean, I will miss it, but man, I've seen pictures of it recently, and like it's fallen into disrepair almost. Like lights were out on it, and it just. Honestly, so last year when we went to Epcot, I took a picture of the fountain looking toward Spaceship Earth, right?
Yeah.
So from the World Showcase side, and you can't even from that side. They built that stage.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even see it from that side. Like and I'm like, well, like that kind of, because I was going through some of my pictures this week to see, I know I took these pictures, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, well, I can't even see the fountain, so what good is it, know?
Yeah.
I'm not, as we've talked about in our last episode and before, you know what? Yeah, it's been there for a long time. It's time for a change. I don't mind. Yes, it's sad. We're losing all that. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I kind of felt a little bit of that too. It's for those reasons, and it does kind of break flow of that central area, because you can't see past it, and you know, so I can understand why. But it does seem like it's, I don't know, it's just such a, I don't know. Like, I'd almost see like if they would keep that fountain there, but like make it half the size or something. But and maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe they have. I can't remember exactly what they have there. But they did have some artwork up as you came into the park of like changes coming to Epcot and stuff. And this was like, I mean, I've read all the kind of stuff you have. Well, not as much, I'm sure, but I've read kind of the basics of all the stuff that's happened. We talked about in the last show. But it really starts to hit you when you're at the park and you see the walls going up and like this thing's closing, and you know that building's going to get demolished, and you're like, wow, there's this they're not kidding. Yeah. So so it was
good. As you go back in the next few weeks, the Odyssey is supposed to open, I think, October 1st with all of the everything, the concept artwork, and the models that they have, and
I forgot about that.
All of that. So they're painting right now. They're painting the Odyssey. And getting it ready.
I saw a couple of pictures of that. What's up with the 80s fuchsia pink colors and stuff? There's like,
I think they're trying to, the colors that they had at D23 Expo, the dots. I think they're trying to match those dots.
I see.
I think those are becoming the new colors of Epcot. So
you know what they can do is they can just put that new logo on any damn thing they want, and I'll buy it.
I think that's coming in October as well.
Oh man, I can't wait. That is such. I don't know what it is about that logo, but I'm like that. It's awesome, like a perfect logo. I can't find anything wrong with it. I'm like,
it's awesome.
Really
I'm with you, man.
I'm going to be buying like tons of shirts and coffee mugs, and because we're really low on coffee mugs in my home. So.
Me too. It's so weird. How are we both running out of
I think there's still some cabinet somewhere we haven't shoved some coffee mugs into.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so it was really, to kind of sum it up, World Showcase or Food and Wine, I give it an A. I think, they got a lot of new things and have broken it up a lot. I was kind of surprised. I saw this new building. I don't know what the pathway is called. There's that pathway right next to Journey that links the Future World and the World Showcase. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They use that as kind of flex space for lots of stuff. Sometimes they have a playground and Food and Wine. They have things, but they're building a new cinder block building, which obviously means it's going to be pretty permanent. And it's kind of like it's just kind of like out there. And I was like, what is that? And I found out afterwards, I guess it's new bathrooms or something they're putting up on that side.
Yeah, I saw that for the first time yesterday too.
Okay. I know that's not the most exciting thing to talk about bathrooms. I'm sure they'll camouflage it a bit, but in its current state of this big cinder block building, it's like, wow, those bathrooms are going to be pretty obvious. So, but anyway, I guess they're adding those. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is it kind of felt the energy of the park kind of coming back. Like it's, it's a World Showcase and it had all the activity from Food and Wine, and the Future World stuff is like we're closing it down and we're going to be doing stuff, and the front's all boarded up and the tombstones are gone, and it's going to look ugly for a little while, but I think it needs to get through that period to get to the other side. So,
well, even with all of that, I don't think it's going to be as bad as we went through with Hollywood Studios, because when they started closing things up, it was like, they literally had like 5 attractions you could ride,
Yeah, and the thing that helps Epcot is they also have the festivals. Like they've already announced the dates for the art festival.
Sure,
I can't wait for, and so there's still a reason to go.
Yeah. Absolutely, and they know what they have with the festivals, and World Showcase. Look, man, they're gonna have they're replacing the movies in China and Canada. They're bringing a new movie to rotate with the movie in France. Remy's coming to France. There's a lot going on, and it's really cool. So it's a great time. United Kingdom is going to get Mary Poppins. It's going to be another attraction. Just leave it at that. And then, they're really, even World Showcase, it's essentially going to stay the same. They're not making major changes to it, but they're plussing it, right? They're adding to it. And then Future World is going to be at least the west side, the Journey, Land, Living Seas side is going to look vastly different because, that building's going to be gone. The Communicore Interventions building's going to be gone. There'll be a park there. They're building a festival center.
Yep.
I think the park will be really nice if they have trees and, a place where you can go and like kind of get away from it a little bit. And then the other side is going to have it's going to be kind of untouched, but you're adding a new restaurant by Mission Space, and then the new roller coaster. I mean, there's a lot going on there, and there's going to be some construction, but there's still going to be a lot to do while the construction's going on.
Yep. And even just kind of watch the construction as it goes. I think it'd be neat to see the park kind of evolve.
Yeah,
from a park nerd kind of standpoint.
Yeah.
So it was good overall, good day. The only downside, and I'm not going to finish on negative. I'll find some other positive to talk about. But let me ask you, what would you do in this situation?
Okay.
You go on the Living with the Land ride, right? You're in the front of a boat, with your family, right? And it's a quiet attraction, right? Sure. It's kind of sedate, a little. We're going to learn some things about the land, and blah blah blah. Which, by the way, the new video that remember they redid the videos at the end of the film because they were looking old and shoddy. They updated them. Yeah, it looks really good.
Good.
But anyway, what would you do if then there was a mother-daughter combo right behind you, talking through the entire thing at almost full voice, like they're on their phones, like, oh, did you see what Mary put on Facebook? Oh my God, I can't believe that she did. Oh, really? Did she did? Oh, they're going to this thing, blah blah blah, through the whole ride. What would you do?
Me, what I would do nothing. I mean, that's just my...
Why would you do... I mean, shouldn't you be able to, in a civilized society, turn around and say, excuse me, would you mind shutting your trap? Because, I'm trying to learn about living with the land here.
I mean, it's just like going to a movie theater. You're there for the attraction. You're there. You spent money to go and be part of this and see what's being presented. So, absolutely should... Yeah, you should have that right ability to do that. But, I mean, do you really want to deal with that? Of course you do, but I wouldn't.
No, and I got my kids with me because then it's like, well, do I want to start? Because then if I say something, then it's like now it's out there. Now it's uncomfortable.
Well, you got the whole ride left ahead of you.
Right, exactly. And now I'm the jerk. And this is what, and then I get extra mad because they're the ones being the jerks. But then if I say something about it, now I'm the jerk. And or at least that's how it would get chalked up, right? So, man, I just...
Yeah, I mean, if they're talking about the ride and
that I understand. Like, there was a couple of times, like with my son, we're talking about let's see on the farm, they got the thing and the blah, blah, blah. No, they were literally on their phones looking at Facebook, talking about, whatever updates somebody had done. It was like clearly a case where, like, Dad wanted to go on the ride and they couldn't have cared less, so they were just, just going through it. Man, really frustrating. It was just really. I mean, thankfully in our case, we've been there a lot. We're going to go back again. But like, if that was my vacation, and maybe I'm only going to do this 1 or 2 times, and I got to deal with that, that would really frustrate me.
Well, and that's the perspective I'm thinking of is I'm driving down and I'm going to spend good money to it's a one-time trip. I haven't been in a couple of years, and I want to see it. I want to hear it, and I don't care what people post on Facebook. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but I didn't say anything because I just figured I'll just suck it up and whatever. Yeah. But I still love that ride. I don't know if any changes will be coming to it, but I still love it. And they had. I don't remember them doing this before, or at least not quite to the same degree. They had like a special display set up for food and wine that kind of like highlighted the ingredients used in food and wine within the ride. I don't know if they'd done it before, but I noticed it this time. So that was cool. So had a great time. There's something else I'm going to tell you. I forgot what it was. It'll come to me later when we do another show. But would have been better if you were there, you and your family. But it was good.
Yeah.
I actually would, like, it's funny because I want to go back for the food and wine aspect, but I'm like, do I really want to go traipse through Epcot again this weekend? But I'm tempted to go back because plus I got to build up my visits to get my free coasters. Anyway, that was it. Oh, and we have to go back to see Illuminations again.
Yeah.
Before that's gone. Exciting times.
Are you going to go see the new Forever Epcot?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. And then, because then not long after that comes the new thing. So,
yeah.
Plus, I got to show my son was upset again because he saw the signs that Illuminations is going away, and he doesn't like things to end. So I think I mentioned it before. He was kind of upset when we saw it. So he's like, "Why do they have to take it away?" I'm like, shut up. It's going to be cool. So
yeah,
he likes the globe. He's sad the globe's going to go away. I'm like, that thing barely works. What are you talking about?
I mean, it even when it was introduced, it was like, is that the best technology we have?
you know, you're right. You're absolutely right because you're right because video screens at the time had a bit more resolution to them than that, like jumbotrons and stuff. Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's like, all right, I'll play along.
Oh, I remember what my other tiny little update was. I don't know if you remember, like a year ago, I complained that they changed the kind of cup you get for the kakigori at Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, just hang with me. So they changed it to like this plastic cup bowl thing that just like, I don't know, felt wrong to get, but they've switched back to a proper paper cup kind of thing for the kakigori, which man, after the heat of going through all those countries and stuff, it was so nice to get to that. So that was it. That's my positive note. I'm happy about the cups the frozen ice comes in, or the shaved ice comes in. So it was good. So I recommend it. So if you want to drive down and come see it, do it. That's it. Sorry I went long on that.
No, that's fine. It was a good discussion. Yeah. I love hearing about Epcot. Yeah, especially right now. You're going to be our reporter in the field as the changes happen.
Yeah, I just read on the internet. Other people are there every day. I don't know how they do it. I guess they're literally their job. They're like, here's today's update.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
People are crazy.
We should hire some people like that, just out there reporting for us, feeding us video back.
Yeah, we should.
Like live streams. Which, speaking of live streams, somebody reminded me the other day, I don't know how we were talking about it. Remember they used to have, remember when webcams were all the rage and like around the internet? They used to have webcams at Disney World. You remember that?
Yes. I do remember that.
And it was like on the top of the train station was one, and then over by the boardwalk was another or something. And then somebody told me they took them down right after 9/11 for security concerns or whatever.
That is correct.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that, but as you said it, that's absolutely right because I used to go to it and look at it when I was sitting at my desk at the Orlando Sentinel. I used to do the same. You're like, oh, let me look and see what's going on today, and so that was the time when it when they.
And it was always bad when you saw like there was nobody there, and you're like, oh, I could be there right now. I could be there right now. I wish they'd bring that back. It's kind of good, and the technology is so much more advanced now. They could do some really neat things. I mean, they do a lot of live streams for events and stuff, but just to set up some cameras would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. That was topic number 1.
We have a second topic?
Yeah. Oh, we're just getting started. I told you that was the aperitif, right? What? Let's get to the main course. Let's eat it with a spork, as they say.
This episode is sponsored by ParkLeap. Do you hate waiting in lines for your favorite rides at Disney World, Universal, and Disneyland? Of course you do. Everyone does. ParkLeap tracks current wait times for attractions in real time, analyzes them, and gives you immediate guidance on what to ride now and what to skip for a shorter wait later on. ParkLeap saves you time so you can do more, see more, and ride more. Many theme parks provide their own apps, which is great, but they only report the times. You only get information, you don't get guidance. Is that 40-minute wait good or bad? ParkLeap can tell you. ParkLeap also includes an interface that is clean, quick, and easy to use. Many vacationers travel to multiple theme parks. Now one app does it all. Whether you're a local resident and annual pass holder, or travel great lengths once a year or every few years, you want to make the most of your time and money. This is the app to get to help you do that. Get ParkLeap in the Apple App Store. And thank you to ParkLeap for sponsoring Starport75.
So, how about you? Do you have anything to report? Has anything been going on with you lately?
No, I've just been chilling. Yeah. So this little place in Hollywood Studios opened August 29th, and which was what, a Thursday?
Sure. Say it's a Thursday.
I think it was a Thursday. And so, Saturday, we had a few things to do in the morning, and then my father-in-law stopped by, and he was headed out to a little road trip to Gulfport, Mississippi. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And we started talking about that. And so he left, and I started talking to the family and saying, hey, there's a, I don't think you've ever been to one, but there's this place called Buc-ee's.
You mentioned this. You had something about this on your Houston trip. Yeah.
They're in Texas, and but there's one in Alabama, past Mobile, east of Mobile. And so I mentioned to my kids, we had just, on our trip to Houston that we just talked about a couple episodes ago, we stopped there, and they have what's cool is they have a lot of like old candy and stuff. Like the kids like the wax bottles.
Oh yeah, I love those things.
So yeah, we got.
You can get those at the Walmart. I think they have those.
I don't go to Walmart. So
okay.
So I said, hey, one time maybe we could, on a weekend, we could drive out to, Mobile and go visit and just to get out. And the kids are like, why would we ever do that?
I was just about to say that sounds like the saddest little
just
dad
for
trip
something
ever.
to do when we have nothing to do. Like, why not? Like, just to get out the house and
shut up and get in the car.
A couple hours, no big deal. Right. And then I said, well, what if we drive to Disney World? Galaxy's Edge is open. Like, why don't we go? And of course I'm joking, right? I'm dad, and why would we do that? And I'm like, well, why not? Let's just go. It's Labor Day weekend. We can drive down today and drive back Monday, and we'll be there tomorrow. And my daughter was like, only if you can, only if we fly. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. Our money tree is dead, so can't do that. And then she's like, well, I don't want to do it. I said, okay, fine, never mind. And then she came down a few minutes later and goes, are you serious? And I said, well, I can be.
Wait, like asking, I've thought about this, and this sounds like it's not so.
She had to go upstairs and get in the right mindset, and she was like, wait, are you serious? And I said, well, sure, why not? Let's do it. We have nothing on the calendar, and why not? What else are we going to do this weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
And
watch YouTube.
She's like, well, I think my adrenaline might be getting to me, but let's do it. And I said, okay. And so I called you, and I said, hey, we're thinking about doing this. I know it's crazy, but I think y'all are going tomorrow. Do you mind if we join you? And you're like, come on down. So we did. So we drove. So we left here at 4 p.m. Central Time.
Can I interrupt for a second? I think you left off two important parts of the story so far.
Okay, go ahead.
One is that this was right around the Hurricane Dorian warnings, right? So it's like it could be going to Florida, then it looked like it wasn't going to go into Florida. So those are, if there's any positive spin to those things, is that they tend to keep people away from the parks because people have, and plus it was right around Labor Day, so people are already heading back home to the kids to start school. So
yes.
That was part of the draw. It was like, this might be a good opportunity to get to Galaxy's Edge that we thought we weren't going to be able to get into for a while.
Yeah. And in my defense, Friday, the track of the storm was going straight up Florida, like entering in Miami and going right up through the middle of it.
Right. But that was going to be
by Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, by Saturday, that track had shifted east, and it was going to stay in the ocean. And so that's when it was like, well, maybe it's not too crazy since it looks like the hurricane has switched direction. Yeah. So it wasn't like I was heading right into the eye. So in my defense, the track had shifted before we made our decision.
Yeah, and the other important part for me that you left out was I think I was the first one to actually suggest this crazy notion to you.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely
you
did.
Left that part off.
Yeah.
So since it went well so far anyway,
I was going to say,
want to take credit for that.
It could have gone either way. Either you're going to take the blame or the
I'm
praise.
Gutsy like that.
So
I place big bets. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So you and how did your wife feel about this? Was she thinking this is a great idea, or was she like, what?
She was like, "Come on, let's go." Yeah. Once she realized I was serious, she was telling the kids, "We have nothing. There's one weekend when we actually have zero things on the schedule, because." Literally the next weekend, this past weekend, we had cross country meet. We had my daughter had play practice, and so there was something going on. It was the perfect storm of nothing happening. So
that's why I hope my kids are not good at anything. So then I don't have all that obligation.
So,
all right, so you scramble around. What's the scene like? Because it was like in the afternoon, right? You weren't even getting like an early day start. So
we were.
What does one take on an emergency trip to Disney World?
I don't know. Some clothes, maybe.
Do you just grab some suitcases and start, frantically throwing stuff in them? Is that how that goes?
Exactly. You've seen the cartoons where they just start throwing stuff into a suitcase, and that's exactly what it was. And so we had so we got on the road 4 p.m. Central Time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and so
Thank you.
we started trucking.
A 10-hour drive?
We were eastbound and down, and and so we got to the hotel at 2 a.m. Eastern Time.
Wow.
So we stopped a couple times for bio breaks, but that was it. We didn't stop to really eat. We just picked up drive-through windows and kept going.
Did you force your kids to watch National Lampoon's Vacation on this road? Because it sounds like a Griswold kind of thing.
Absolutely. So we get to the hotel at 2 a.m. So we all try to get some sleep, and of course the lovely thing about Florida hotels is that
they're all awesome.
They are. We actually stayed at the Town Place Suites at Flamingo Crossing, I think it's called, right there at 429 and Western Way. So it's right on off property. It's I think it's technically Disney property, but so anyway, so we get there, we get up there, and the hotel, it's a nice hotel. It's a nice room, a big room. They have a little kitchen and everything else, right? But oh my God, it's so hot because they have their air conditioners are on motion sensors, right?
Yeah, they don't want to waste money on
which makes perfect sense. But at 2 a.m. when you finish unloading the car in the middle of Florida, you tend to get a little warm. Okay. So we couldn't get to sleep. So it was. I mean, I drifted in and out of sleep, and then I got up at like 6 because I needed to get, okay, it's time to get up and get ready, and I wanted to be there around when it opened. So it was we had very little sleep. And
if you stayed on property, you could have gone out there at like 6 a.m.
No, that's true. That is true. So we get out there. It was about 9:30. We got there, and I knew you had a reservation for some droid building.
Yeah, I had this whole scheme that I planned 11. out that in the end I didn't need to have planned out, but
that's all right. Yeah. So we went in and we did a couple. We did Tower of Terror, and then we went to Toy Story Land, which was our first time Toy Story Land. So
I still haven't been there.
Yeah, so we so the timing worked out to where we got in line for Slinky Dog Dash, and it was about 10 o'clock or 10:30, somewhere in there. It was an hour wait, so I figured, okay, we'll wait in line, we'll ride it, and by the time then Chris and crew will be there, and we can meet up in Galaxy's Edge, and so that's what we did.
Which I was surprised about, because like I made a beeline for Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, nuts to the rest of the park. Yeah. But you're like, we'll go mosey. We'll do some other things first.
Well, the nice thing was, I mean, Tower of Terror was 10 minutes. I mean, literally, it was just walk on, right? Yeah. I mean, how are you going to pass that up?
No, you can't.
Well, in my defense, too, we didn't have any fast passes. I mean, we had fast passes for a few things, but we couldn't get Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah.
You can only pick like one in a tier, and so.
But it turns out you didn't need them at all that day. I mean, the lines
weren't too bad.
Non-existent.
So Tower of Terror, we waited on Slinky Dog Dash, and then we went over to Galaxy's Edge, and it was okay. So I'll give my first impression of it.
Yeah, I was gonna. Then we'll talk about it. So right before you go in, what? Do you have high expectation? Or are you like, oh, okay, I've read everything about this. I've seen, like, what was your emotional state before entering the location of Batuu in the Star Wars universe?
So you're right. I did see a lot of video from Disneyland, and I know they're pretty much clone copies of each other and all.
Yep.
And my first impression was, my goodness, this land is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool because you could get lost in it. And it was the term immersive is thrown around a lot. I've been to the Harry Potter lands in Universal, which are they're great, but this takes it to another level, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So we just started wandering around. I didn't know where anything was, which was kind of cool because then we could like stumble onto things and be like, whoa, look at this shop. Whoa, look at the, oh man, there's the First Order, there's a Kylo Ren ship. And it's like, oh my goodness, you're just running into things. And then they do have the Millennium Falcon kind of in the back. And I'm like, where is it? Because you see all these pictures of it. I'm like, it took us a while to even find it. I was like, oh my God, there it is. So that was my first impression of getting in there, and walking around. What did you think?
I'll tell you in a second. But how many minutes were you in there before you went and bought the Cokes in the specially shaped bottles? Was it?
Well, I did that later. Yeah. Well, actually, we bought them because we were thirsty, and so those were
cost per ounce is pretty high on those. So.
Yeah, no kidding, $6, man, insane.
$6.
But yeah, so I think we were waiting for y'all to finish up in the Droid Factory, and I was like, okay, I gotta just, I'm too thirsty. I need to drink something. So it was early on that we got our drinkable versions.
Yeah. Okay, I still haven't drunk any of those.
Yeah,
no, it was almost the first thing I did. Well, I'll talk to my impressions in a second, but it was almost the first thing I did after coming in. Not because I sought it out, but just like right there was a Coke vendor, and I'm like, hey, they're right here. Let me. Yes, it's a nerdy reference, but in the Apollo program, like Apollo 11, and I think all of them, like the very first thing they would do is get contingency samples. Like they'd land, get some rocks to bring back with you. Don't do anything else. Get some rocks, so in case something goes terrible, at least you have those and you head back home. That was kind of how I went after the Coke bottles, because I'm like, I'm getting these Coke bottles because they're cool. Anyway, first, my general impression.
Yeah.
So leading up to this, and you and I talked about this before. I don't remember if it was on the show too much. Leading up to this, even up to and including after Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland was open, I pretty much dismissed everything about it. From all the things, the quote unquote immersive things, like you just said, we're going to have the characters are going to be, roaming the land, and we're going to have special foods, and it's going to be a location. It's not going to be in the theme park per se. It's going to, it's got this whole, almost Renaissance festival thing to it. Like you're transported to another land, and I'm just like rolling my eyes going, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
I totally dismissed every single thing about it. I'm like, I feel it's just, I mean, when it was first announced, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But then when I started to hear, it's about two, they're going to this whole backstory thing, this whole, characters and books and comics are all going to build this environment out. I'm like, it felt like to me it wasn't going the direction that I expected or wanted. Mm-hmm. However, in real life, once seeing it there, and it's so hard for me to explain what I mean, but because everybody talks about immersion and how detailed and themed a place is, and we weren't Harry Potter fans when it was built over Universal, so we haven't been, but we heard all about how amazingly detailed it is. But in terms of Galaxy's Edge, what I noticed was how much depth there was to it in a couple of different ways. One, like in the other theme parks, there's theming, but it's almost like little pockets of theming, right? So it's like just regular stuff, and then here's the thing where like, oh, hey, that's pretty themed. Mm-hmm. But in Galaxy's Edge, it's all theme. Like no matter where you look, up, down, left, right, it's all like there's details there that make it really feel like a different place. Like I think the thing that really hit it home for me is like there's this giant crater like off to the side, like huge, like 20 feet deep, like but it's like blowing the dirt up into the 20 feet up from ground level, and like there's this rubble in it from like some spaceship or something that crashed. I'm like, man, somebody had to like, hey, let's come up with that idea and do that thing and spend the money and the time to go build it. I'm like, wow, they really put a lot into this. And the other thing I noticed, which was completely unexpected to me, and I'm sure others have talked about it, but I never came across anything like it, was the literal depth of that land. Meaning, there are many places you can stand where you don't just see the thing in front of you, and you don't just see something a little farther in the distance. You see something that is 3 and then 4 levels deeper from where you are, right? So you see like whatever's right in front of you, then maybe there's the Falcon back there, and then there's some spires up in the air behind that, and then there's another thing way in the distance beyond that. It felt very much like the like multiplane shots that they used to do in animation a lot in the olden days, where you just had that really felt that feel of depth to it that I didn't expect. So
yeah,
I was blown away. I was just, all the things that I poo-pooed and rolled my eyes over and just said, oh, whatever, are all the things that in the end I ended up loving about it. So
yeah,
that's my general gush about it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm the same.
Plus, I even got into, and because you were there, like at first I kind of like rolled my eyes at because the cast members are all in character, right? They're and I forgot that at first. And the one of the, while I was next to you, he's like somehow I mentioned the hurricane, and the crowds were pretty low while you were doing something else that you'll probably talk about in a second. And he's like, "What is this hurricane I keep hearing about?" And I thought he was just joking with me. And then I realized, oh no, he's in character because it's Batuu. And then I started, like a nerd, I started getting into it, like I said, like it's a Renfest kind of thing, and started talking to him about his life in Batuu. And I'm like, holy hell, I actually like this, So I want to go back, not to ride rides, maybe to buy some more stuff, but just to kind of interact with the people there, like I'm in a different place.
Yeah,
I feel like such a nerd, and it didn't even matter that it was Star Wars, and I don't know how you felt about it, but I mean, it was cool that it was Star Wars. But I just love the immersion of feeling like I truly was in a different place. Like the whole thing was stage, right? There was no audience and stage. The whole thing was stage.
Yeah,
and it was really cool.
Well, so that's actually a very good point to point out, is that it's not like Star Wars weekends, right? Where they would have a background set up, and then you'd see Luke and Leia, right? And you'd go for a photo op, or you would have Mickey and Minnie and Jedi outfits, and for another photo op, and all this other stuff, right? So it's not like that. It's not overtly Star Wars. It's not even like Star Tours. It's more organic, right? You do see Rey, you do see Chewbacca, you do see
honestly,
Kylo
I saw them a little too much, and I mean. I spent maybe 5 hours, I think, in Galaxy's Edge, just because various things, and I had the droid building thing, which I can talk about in a second. But I saw Chewbacca a number of times, and Rey a number of times. But what are you going to do? I mean, people might only be in there for an hour.
That's the thing, right? And so we got to see Kylo Ren too, and Kylo Ren, he was walking past our family, and then he stopped, spun around, and walked right back over to my son, and asked him a question. Cool. And so I'm just trying to get in, because it was a shock to me. I'm trying to get in position to take photos and capture this and try to watch it and see what's going on. And so, but it was really cool. He was asking him, "Oh, have you seen any Resistance people?" And my son said, "Oh no, I don't think they do have any of those here." And he was like, "Oh well, we need to really make sure," and all this other stuff. And he had 2 stormtroopers with him, and it was just really cool.
What did your son think of the
it made his trip.
So
I mean, it was like it was just really cool, because we've seen Kylo Ren right before at a photo op, and it's more contained, right? It just more expected, and this was unexpected, and that's what made it cool. It was like, okay, well, and then he turned around, and there was this little girl. When he was done talking to my son, he turned around, and there's this little girl in a Rey outfit, and I got one picture of it. It was so cute, him talking to her, and I couldn't hear what he was asking her, but it was really cool to see that. So it does take place in it's canon, right? Part of the Star Wars timeline now. There are books, but it takes place after Return of the Jedi and before Rise of Skywalker. So it's actually taking place right now in the movie. So it's going to be curious to see what happens in Episode 9. If it changes, I mean, I don't know if it changes anything, or I mean, I don't know, I guess we'll find out, right?
You said Return of the Jedi, but
I'm sorry.
Actually,
Last Jedi.
Yeah, right.
Last Jedi.
One of those Jedi movies.
Yeah, one of those Jedi movies.
Yep.
So,
between 8 and 9, right? Between the last Star Wars one that came out, of the main storyline, and then this one.
Yeah, so you won't see Han there. You won't see.
Which I didn't realize at first. I'm like, where's Han? I'm like, right. Yeah.
So you could still see Leia though.
You could.
Right.
I didn't. But I didn't.
So I think they're waiting until the next one comes out, and then they'll probably add or subtract. So anyway,
I've completely nerded out on Batu now. So I'm like, I've read the comics that have backstory. Now you and I are going through the Black Spire novel that's out there, and kind of really nerding out on the whole. Well, what is this land, and what's its story, and all that.
Yeah. So, and I would highly suggest doing that. I did it after visiting, which is kind of cool because we were listening to. I downloaded it on Audible. And we were listening to it on the way home. It was like, and we were all like, as it would mention a place, we would all look at each other and like, oh wait, we were just there, So it brought it even, closer to us.
I'm gonna politely disagree with you, or maybe
you can't disagree, but you can have a different opinion.
Let's talk about the gondolas. Because I read a few things before going, mostly from the comic series, just because I'm not very smart, so I stick to comics. No offense, comic nerds. But for me, it was, and maybe it'd be fine to like go and then kind of learn the stuff and then go back. But I really enjoyed, for me, like, oh, this is the thing in that story, like kind of the reverse of what you're saying.
Oh,
it's like because I did see some things there and went, oh, like I know who that is. Like if I hadn't seen that, it would have seemed like just some random character. But I'm like, oh no, I know a little bit of the backstory there. So it's probably pros and cons each way, and you can't know everything. And I don't know if they have more stuff planned because they had like this whole multimedia kind of thing that surrounded this. So I don't know if it'll kind of continue as a setting, but they should.
Yeah.
It was cool. And even down to like there's a toy shop there that sell, because the whole idea is like Black Spire is like this outpost on the kind of rim of the galaxy where only smugglers hang out. But I guess there's a lot of like local villagers and things that live around this thing, so they come and they trade their wares here. So like one of the shops has toys, and it's all stuff like that like craftsmen would have made it. It looks like carved wood and like sewn dolls. It's not like the typical Disney, highly commercial, made in China kind of looking stuff. It looks more sort of natural and rough, So just that even the merchandise theming kind of fit into the rest of it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't find anything with the actual Star Wars logo on it or Galaxy's Edge. That's sold outside of the land.
Which I didn't even realize until you told me that afterwards. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, there's nothing there that says even the cups, like the paper cups, when you get a soda, they don't say Disney on. All the parks have that same exact cup that they use, but not in Galaxy's Edge. It's some different design that they use there. So really, really amazing amount of depth there.
They even have different utensils at.
Well, they did
at the restaurant.
They did.
What?
I don't know if you saw.
Mean?
No, they don't have them anymore.
What do you mean? They're sporks.
Yeah, they had those neat metal space forks, right? Yeah. Space sporks. I can't say that. So no, I guess looks like a lot of people were stealing them.
What? Who would do that? That's so wrong.
Well, it is wrong, Glenn. But it's almost like the people couldn't resist the urge because they're really cool looking space sporks.
That's insane.
Which I couldn't find any reference. It doesn't seem like that was ever in a movie anywhere. It almost looked like a thing that might have ended up in one of the Star Wars movies, but I didn't see any reference to it. But no, they had some really nice metal ones that were out there for the first week or so. But
we used them.
I know.
That's weird.
I have a picture of them. So we did that, but now they're just using regular forks. I don't know why they just didn't do like plastic ones rather than the fancy metal ones.
Well, until we actually got our food and the actual spork, I honestly didn't know, because they had them in Disneyland first. I honestly thought they were plastic. Like I didn't realize they were metal, and I couldn't understand when Disneyland was complaining, oh, the forks are gone. It's like, all right, well, like who cares? What, you would want a plastic fork back? Like what are you trying to say? And so I didn't realize it. But yeah, why wouldn't you just make plastic forks like that? It's cool they can order a ton of them, and
then sell the metal ones sell the metal ones for like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it.
Those are cool.
Speaking of spending money, did you spend much money in Galaxy's Edge, or was there much of an opportunity to spend any money?
Let's go through the day. Who spent more money first, and then we'll get to me. So what did you? So I mentioned that you were you had an appointment for the Droid Depot.
Yeah, you don't know that I spent more money than you.
Oh, I know you spent more money. I guarantee you spent. I
guarantee I did not.
No. Yes, you did. If you go ahead, you didn't bring in my tickets.
I didn't pay for gas to get there. To drive 10 hours, 20 hours there and back. I didn't have to stay in a hotel. I didn't buy single day passes.
All right, but you have a mortgage and you have annual passes that you pay in monthly.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, don't even.
All right,
limited to merchandise, and you still beat me.
You don't know that.
Oh, I know that.
Maybe I don't know that because I don't want to add it up.
You don't want to add it up.
All right. So let me tell you. So
go ahead.
Shut up. So I'll talk about the droid thing first. So speaking of things that I totally poo-pooed, but ended up liking. So they have this droid building thing, right? Which I've rolled my eyes at a long time. I'm like, it's gonna be silly. It's gonna cost way too much. And I've built actual robots, but like real life robots before, like big deal. Because I'm kind of comparing it to the Build-A-Droid. What do they call the thing that's at like Star Tours? You've done that.
Yeah, the little bitty, like the Kenner-sized, 3-inch.
Which is okay, but I mean, you got to admit, it's a little cheesy and kind of whatever. But
it was also $12. I mean,
well, this was a little more than $12. So my plan was, here's it now. Before you judge me, you got to put yourself in the right frame of mind. So imagine that it was your birthday weekend, and imagine you wanted to do something special at Disney, and you're like, it'd be really nice to go to Galaxy's Edge, but you're assuming that there's going to be such a crush of people. Because remember, the way it's supposed to work is that there's supposed to be so many people in there, you actually have to get a boarding time to come back sometime later in the day to maybe get in and go see this great land that we're talking about, right? So this is what I'm expecting. So before the hurricane became a threat, I'm like, man, I'd really like to just, for my birthday, I'd like to go out there. And then I learned, might have been from you, might have been from the internet, so I don't know, that you could make a reservation to go either build a lightsaber, which I wasn't going to do because you and I were going to do that in January, because that's what we had planned to do, was to go build lightsabers at the same time.
Yeah.
Or you can do this Build-A-Droid thing. And I'm like, well, this seems smart because, in the end, I'll get this remote-controlled droid out of it, and it must guarantee me entrance to the land because you get a specific time to build your droid, so they can't tell me I can't come in. So it was going to be my, I'm going to solve this problem with money and be able to go into Galaxy's Edge, right? Mm-hmm. But then the other problem is you're only allowed to bring one person with you to go build the droid. And at the time, I thought it was going to be kind of like the lightsaber building is, where you go into kind of like a separate room and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, I got a family of 4. Both, my sons and my wife would probably want to see it as well. And like, I don't want to tell somebody they can't get, like, just pick one person to go with me. So again, I solved the problem with some money, and I made 2 reservations to build 2 different droids, rationalizing it because they have BB-8 style droids and R2-D2 style droids, and I figure I can get one of each, right? It's my birthday. I'm going to do that. Yeah, it turns out there were no crowds because of the hurricane, so I didn't need to go make this reservation. But if you if you don't cancel it in 24 hours, they charge you anyway. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of a shop, so like my family members could have been in the shop while I was just in the area to make the droid. I could have done it with one of them, so it's kind of unnecessary, but it was hellaciously fun. It was actually a good time because my son and I were like looking at the assembly line of the parts going by, and he enjoyed making it, and I enjoyed making it. And in the end, the droids are pretty substantial. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of fun to play with. So, yeah. So in the end, I feel I won. It cost a little too much. They were $100 each. Mm-hmm. I rationalized it by saying, if they sold these in like a store, they'd probably be $69, $89, something like that. So it's not that much more. And I got to build it myself and pick all the pieces and all that. So, So we did that, and which that was a fair amount of money. And then it might shock you to know, but in the droid building depot, droid depot, they had a lot of droid-related merchandise. What? And I kind of like the droids, kind of one of my favorite parts of Star Wars. So I might have bought a fair amount of things, like shirts and hats and a sign and a magnet restraining bolt and stuff like that. So I think
they had those?
Oh yeah, there's one on my fridge right now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I'll get you. I'll get you one next time I go.
Son of a gun.
That was the cheapest of the lot. I think it was only $8 or $10 or whatever. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, it was fun. It's a little. The only thing I didn't like about it, other than the price, was they are really. And I understand why. I get it. It's like character breakfast that they need to turn over the people because then, number one, they need to make the money. And number two, a lot of people want to be able to do it. So they do kind of rush you through. I really don't want to kind of savor my part selection, even though the night before I went and found as much information as I could on the internet about the different parts options. So I wouldn't, make giant mistakes under time pressure. So they kind of shuffle you along like, okay, you need help? You got that? But it was still fun. So I felt bad. I mentioned in a previous segment that I went to Food and Wine on this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I built these droids, and then I'd use the that package pickup service that they have. So they basically take it to the front of the park, or if you're staying in one of their hotels, they'll deliver it to the hotel. Because I wasn't going to walk around carrying these 2 large droids all day. I'll talk about that in a second. But I was at Epcot, and I saw this guy walking around with one of those, and I'm like, man, you're at Epcot, which means you started your day over at the other park, and you're just going to carry around this giant droid all day. So that's a commitment. Yeah. But it was fun. And then right after that, we met up with you guys. So
yeah,
Oh, what I was going to talk about with the droid, which I didn't really do, but apparently they have these little backpacks so you can put the droids in, which I bought one, but I didn't use it. That like you can walk around with the droids, and then as you walk around Galaxy's Edge, the droids apparently have reactions to things that are going on around them. So like if Kylo Ren were to walk by, they might get suddenly scared and start making a lot of beeping noises and things like that. So I didn't do that because we weren't going to walk around with them, but it's kind of a neat little kind of extra depth of interactivity. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Pal Mickey?
Oh yeah! Oh my God, I forgot about Pal Mickey. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of similar to that. Yeah. Did you had a Pal Mickey? I'm sure.
Do you want me to pull? Yeah, I can actually show you.
No, I'm fine. I can't remember if I think we bought one. I have to ask my wife. I think we bought one, but I don't think I've seen it in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. I liked it. It was again, if you're doing one droid for $100 and you're into droids, it was a fun experience to do.
So I think my son wants to do one now after seeing yours. So
see now I'll go back when next time you come down. I'll go back because now I'm like, well, I need kind of like an R4. I've got a BB-8 style. I need it. So I need other ones.
All right. So then we met up after that, and I think all of us were hungry. So then we headed over to get something to eat, and so you and I got something from the Ronto Roasters,
which I love the theming in that place. That droid that's roasting the meat. I don't know what Ronto is, but they looked like they might have been delicious. Mm-hmm. Wait, actually, you and I haven't talked about it. What can I talk about it now? Did you how did you like what you got there?
I enjoyed it. It was very good.
Oh, did you? Mine was terrible. It was all like dry and
Was it really?
Yeah.
No, mine was good. I ate it all up. So you got
the good one.
It's basically a pita with a long thin sausage, but it's not a hot dog. It's more
like a sausage,
a smoked sausage, and then it's like I guess shaved or sliced pork, and then some like coleslaw.
Yeah,
and the coleslaw on mine was that kind of gave it the tanginess and the flavor and like the moistness.
Maybe I didn't have enough coleslaw.
I think maybe so. But yeah, mine was yummy. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the company.
And I got some kind of drink. I don't know.
What was that thing you got?
I don't know. It was they had like 3 different drinks, and it was basically like a mango, some other kind of fruit punch.
Non-alcoholic, right?
Non-alcoholic.
They had alcoholic drinks there as well. So
yeah, but it was okay. It was good. Right. And then so you and I got that, and then the rest of the family got ate from the Docking Bake 7, and they had a much wider range of food, but still unique. It wasn't the regular hamburgers and
not theme park food at all. Yeah.
The kids, I think that all the kids got pretty much the same thing. It was the chicken, the fried chicken, and mac and cheese, but the chicken was like in a rectangle shape.
Yeah,
I think
space chicken.
But all the kids my kids liked it. They enjoyed it.
Yeah, mine too.
And they all got the sporks and ate it with that. And then Tammy had some kind of salad, I think. And so, I mean, there's a variety of things, and everybody seemed to like everything okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Should note that it was all very expensive, but
oh my god, I didn't even realize how expensive. Tammy told me after. I'm like, oh, hey, okay, that's awesome. But
speaking of which, I think I owe you money because I only bought yours.
No, because I looked at I took a picture of the receipt at Ronto and I looked at it after I'm going through all my photos. I'm like, wait a second, we got 2 sandwiches and a couple drinks, and it cost that much money?
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Yes, I think everything.
All right, as long as it's square. I don't want to.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we did that. It's pretty cool. I wish there was more seating in that central area, though, because it's really crowded in there. We were lucky to snag some, but they needed more seating. I didn't even go into the docking bay 7 though, so I don't know how large that is on the inside. It's not
big. So you're absolutely right. They generally need more seating for their restaurants. Just in general, they need to put some more tables somewhere else because it's way too small for both.
Even like the shops, there's one that all day long, the time we were there was a line to get in. They had cast members there, like only letting in certain numbers at a time because there just wasn't enough room in there. Mm-hmm. And the land itself wasn't that crowded.
No. So we ate. It was good. And then we right after that, I think, is when we got in line for the Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah, Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. So it was, there's no fast pass right now.
Perfect.
It was
the way the whole world should be.
Absolutely. It was a 90-minute wait, and we waited pretty much 90 minutes, but we kept moving the whole time.
No. It was about an hour.
Well, it was 80 minutes total from the time we got in line and the time we got off.
Okay. I should have known you would have tracked that. Yeah, I thought it was more like an hour, but all right.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It didn't seem like an hour. We waited an hour for Slinky Dog Dash, and this felt about the same amount because we were moving the whole time, and there were things to see in the queue line. And
there was a part which now I know was halfway through where I was like, because you know me, I don't like waiting in lines.
No, I know.
And we were like halfway through, and I'm like, because I didn't know how long the line was. Like other lines have been in, you know roughly, okay, we're here, it's going to be this amount of time. But having never been on the ride before, I'm like, I don't know if that we're 5 minutes away or 50 minutes away. So, but yeah, it was all right. It was nice to hang out with people you know.
Yeah,
they had a neat little game with the which I hadn't really used the Disney Play app before. I don't know if you had in other places, but because it's it's all about smuggling and shipping, and especially where the Millennium Falcon is. So they have all these crates that are kind of strewn about, waiting to be sent around the galaxy, and they all have like these little QR code, barcode looking kind of things on them. Mm-hmm. And you use the Disney Play app to like scan them, and then it'll show you a picture of what's inside the crate. So our kids were having a good time, kind of seeing all the weird stuff that was in the crates.
They were,
so it was kind of fun. So that was entertaining for them. But yeah, so what did you think of the ride? The queue was great. It was well themed, of course, and some great viewpoints of vantage points of the Falcon as you go through. What did you think of the attraction itself?
It was good. It was. I was trying to do too much though, because I was trying to take photos and record it, but also trying to experience it. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just put the camera down and said, "Okay, I'll get it next time," because I'll know what to expect. But it was fun. I had a good time. And when we finally got in to the Millennium Falcon, I know I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know really what to do. They give you cards, and as you're entering the Millennium Falcon, they give you cards for the task that you're going to do. So I was a pilot, and so I got a card, and everybody's walking in, they get their cards, and then you're in the Millennium Falcon, and you're looking around, and then for us, they called it. They were like, "Okay, orange team over here," and so we went over there. So, and then they were getting us ready to go into the attraction, and I've seen pictures of other people like lounging and, by the chess table and everything else, and, really looking around, and you can see, all kind of Easter eggs and all from the movie. And we didn't have that opportunity. It went by too quick. And, that was the one out of the whole day. That was the one thing that bugged me, was that I didn't get a chance to spend more time there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, we're in line, people behind us, and, it's our turn, but it's like, oh man, give me like 5 minutes,
Right.
So anyway, and then we, went into the cockpit and took our positions and went through the attraction. I was a pilot, and there's 2 pilots. I had the duty of, flying up or down. My son was the other pilot. He had the duty of going left or right. So yeah, you really have to kind of work in tandem. And
somehow I don't think that's how the Falcon was really designed. But,
what?
We'll let it go.
What? So I was in Chewie's seat. If you're thinking about the Falcon, my son was in Han's seat. And then so you were what, an engineer?
Yeah, don't get me started, because here's one of my biggest problems with this attraction is that there is definite hierarchy of the positions, at least perceived hierarchy.
Okay.
And I saw, prior to going on this, I saw jokes of people like somebody had posted a picture where they got the engineer card, and like, this is what you always get when you're a single rider. So it is
well, yeah. I mean, they're just showing,
so the preferred hierarchy is, of course, what you got, which is, you want to be pilot, because on the one hand, you're getting to, quote, fly the thing, but second, just from a attraction experience, you're way up in front with the screen right over you, and like is a definite higher sort of immersion factor for that. I'm not sure what the gunners did. It seemed like they didn't get to do that much more than engineers did, but they are, again, closer up to the front, and then in the back, the engineers, which is what my son and I got, and that's fine. We'll go back again. I don't know how we can try to stack in our favor to not to beat anybody else at anything, but to be able to try all the different kind of parts of the ride. So yeah, we were engineers, which here's one thing that I think is a poor design on the attraction for the engineer spot, and maybe this is what people complain about, other than just being further back. For pilot, what you're interacting with and what you're seeing are right in front of you. For the gunners is kind of the same. I mean, they had like a firing thing, but they didn't have it was like all in the same spot, right? They didn't have to like hunt around, and they'd look forward. For engineers, and I saw that this ride seems to me like a mashup of like Star Tours and Mission Space, right? You take those kind of 2 concepts and you put them together, and that's kind of what this ride felt like to me.
Yeah.
So the job of the engineer is all these switches, many different switches that light up at different times for you to, quote, fix the ship that the pilots were breaking. So you have to look to the side at the blinking lights to see which switches to hit. So you're not seeing the screen in front of you. So it kind of steals your attention back and forth. So it does that last. And I know they did it because they want to be able to fit more than 4 people in at a time. But it almost seemed like a bolt-on to have that kind of last job in there, so to speak. So, So anyway, there's that.
Yeah.
So, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go back from the ride and then move backwards a little bit. The attraction itself, and I don't know if this is heresy because I haven't seen what people's general opinion of it, from like the show standpoint of the thing that we're doing and the story, like I had no idea what the story was. Like there was I'm kind of going backwards, but there's like a pre-show that like with the animatronics that kind of like setting up the thing. I don't know if I was just paying attention, taking pictures at that point, or I couldn't hear him well enough, but I did not get the setup of what I got, that we were like smuggling something, grabbing something from some other ship or what, I don't know. So I missed the whole backstory of what it was we were trying to do. And then the actual attraction itself, as we're going through it, I didn't feel like I got any more enlightened about what we were doing. And I don't know how it felt to you as a pilot, but from the way back seats of the engineer, it almost felt like, this only worked for the old people in the audience, but remember that video game Dragon's Lair? And remember how, because it was like a video-based game, and like you could control it, but it never felt like you were really controlling it. It just seemed like, you know what I mean? Felt like you're kind of just nudging in a direction. That's what it kind of seemed to me. I don't know if that's fair or not. So the attraction itself, in terms of the video thing, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. However, all that stuff leading up to it, like I could have done all of that and not done the ride itself. And I would have been perfectly happy because just to completely nerd out on it. But, there is this really emotional thing when you're seeing this ship that was such an iconic thing and you're on the inside of it now. It's not because we've had models and things before. You can see the outside and toys where you can play with the outside. But you've never been able to, quote, be in the ship and walk through those tunnels that you remember Luke running through as, they're trying to take off from the stormtroopers chasing him and stuff. And like, it was goosebump time to kind of walk through those corridors. And they did such an amazing job, building them. Like you said, I wish we had more time to kind of hang out because we did kind of get hustled through there pretty fast. But
yeah.
So, again, A+ for theming. The ride itself, B, C+, somewhere in that range. So I don't know how many times I would wait long amounts of time to go ride it, but it was fun to be in it.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, I agree with you because I still didn't know what we were trying to do. It just kept yelling at me to follow this. I don't know. And like you said, like I was, of course, I'm trying to go up and down, right? It wasn't doing what I was telling it to do.
Yeah.
It's just like Mission Space, kind of like you really don't have any control. Yeah. So it was like, all right, whatever.
But here's the thing: you had the prime spot of being the one to flip the switch to go to hyperspace, right? So
I do. Yeah, my son was upset with that because he wanted to do that, and I didn't know that was going to happen. Quite honestly, because he didn't. It never said that. It was just like, oh, you're just going to fly up and down. I'm like, okay, and then it lit up green, and I'm like, oh, hey. So it's like, all right, okay, bonus.
Yeah.
That was the one cool thing, but yeah. The ride itself, like I couldn't tell you what we were trying to do.
Oh, good. So it wasn't just me.
Okay. Oh, no, not at all. But it was just really cool to go in there and then sit down. It's like, oh my God, this is it, And so that was cool. But yeah, like you, like I could spend time. It's almost like, okay, let those people go ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I'll just spend a little more time in here, and I'll just walk through, and you can have my spot.
Yeah, because I saw pictures, like you said, I saw pictures of other people took. Like there's the what do they call that thing? That thing that floated in the air that Luke practiced the lightsaber with. That's apparently sitting on a shelf in the back that I didn't even see while we were in there.
I know.
I just wanted to see that stuff. But it's good. But in the end, I think that will become the secondary ride for the land versus the Rise of the Resistance. Is that what it's called? Rise of the Resistance?
Whatever that is.
I got that right.
Resistance, yes.
So as the second one, it probably, which is my only knock on, I think, on Galaxy's Edge right now, is that just I was in the mode to spend money that weekend because it was, like I said, birthday weekend, so I had lots of built-in excuses to do it. But if you weren't there to like shop and not eat, not a ton to do there. So, there's lots to take pictures of, and the characters are running around, but they really need that second large attraction open. And it would be really nice if there were even one or two kind of, B ticket rides to go on, whatever, something, or not rides, but some kind of attraction or something. So I don't know I don't think they've announced anything, but I don't know if they have anything.
Well,
planned,
they actually had announced something originally.
Oh, did they?
That they cut out. Yeah. It was you're supposed to ride on some kind of animal. I don't know if it was it wasn't like a tauntaun or anything. It was what in episode 4 with the sand people.
Oh yeah,
ride the big
banthas.
Yeah, something like a bantha, right?
Yeah, and
it was essentially supposed to be like I guess kind of close to the railroad in the train in Magic Kingdom. Like it would just go around the land. But that was cut. There was also supposed to be a large full service restaurant connected to the cantina. The cantina was originally supposed to be just like a waiting area for the full service restaurant. So I don't know if they're going to do that or not, eventually build it or not, but both of those were cut. So
that's a shame, the restaurant thing. I mean, it only works if you're going to actually go eat, but I hear it's really hard to get into the cantina. Like I didn't see it. You have to have reservations or something.
Yes, you do. Yes, you need reservations, but there is also a standby line. So you can, but it can get into the hours, long wait.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see it. Actually, I didn't even see, I was there 5 hours. I didn't even see the entire land. Like, I never got to the very back where the resistance area, or the first order area is. Because apparently they've taken over part of Black Spire. So I didn't even get back there. So I'll have to go back.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see, you got to see it at like evening, nighttime, which I didn't, which I'd really like to do. I saw it just in the middle of the blazing hot day.
Yeah.
So
the lighting is nice. It's definitely worth a trip at night.
Yeah. Okay, do that. Cool.
Yeah.
What else? So we talked about the money I spent. What about you? What did you spend
all
money
right.
on?
So after the ride, I did say, I started thinking about it, and yes, we did have a plan to go in January and do it. But then I started thinking about the logistics of that.
And you're like, screw him.
Of building a lightsaber and then transporting it back to home on a plane. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't. Do I check it?
Overhead?
How does this work? And so I really didn't want to deal with any of that. So I said, well, I'm here right now. Let me just do it, and let me see if I can do it, because I tried to get reservations for it that morning, and they were all booked up. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't think I was going to have a shot at it. And so you actually were like, well, why don't you see if they have standby?
Don't pin it on me, man.
And you said, Glenn, it looks like you have $200 too much in your wallet. Why don't you go see if these nice people can take it from you?
Well, and I didn't, sorry to butt in, and I did mention it when I mentioned the droid thing. The reason I said that was, if you look at the website, just a tip for people out there if they're still listening after all this, the website makes it seem like the only way you can do this is to make a reservation, like the droid building and the lightsaber thing. But when I built the droids, it's almost like an attraction where there is a reservation line and then there's the standby line. Mm-hmm. So you could have gone in the droid factory and built a droid without a reservation. It just so happens it's quicker and nicer if you do. So, that's why I said, well, maybe they have the same kind of setup for lightsabers, a little bit different, because I'm sure it's, highly prized and the setup is different, but that's why I suggested it. Anyway. Tip for people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I suggested, but I surely didn't expect they would. I thought they were going to tell you, no, I'm sorry, they're all booked or whatever.
Sure, me too. And then they were like, oh, yeah, sure.
Well, actually, no, it wasn't that clear, because I remember standing there.
Oh, it wasn't clear at all. You're right.
Because the guy was in character, and he's like, because remember, there's no place to make lightsabers in Batuu. However, there is, I can't remember the guy's name, but there is a junk shop that where various things are done that if you're in the know, you would know that's where they make lightsabers.
Yeah.
So anyway, in character, they're kind of like, go talk to Jim over there, essentially, to find out when the next opening is, right? Is that essentially what it was?
Yeah, that in-character stuff, that's where it gets annoying, is when you're actually trying to find out
when you
true
really
information, and they're like being coy. It's like, oh, come on, guy, just help me here.
It's funny you say that, because I work with somebody that big Star Wars fan, big Disney fan, and he said the same exact thing. He had no time or patience for any, even that the little bit of banter and in-character stuff I liked. He's like, no, and like he tried to ask somebody for like a guide map, like he needed a second guide map, and I think the cast member he talked to took it a little too far, and he was like, kind of like almost beating his head on a spire there at Black Spire, where he's like, I just need a map. Is there one around? And they finally broke character, realizing he was getting frustrated, and they're like, I think you can go talk to that cast member over there and get one. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So real logistics were hard to get out of the Batuians.
Yeah. So anyway, I figured out you just go up to the cash register and they take your money and they'll do it for you. So anyway, yeah, I mean, they're like, okay, well, these are the kinds that you can build. Which one are you going to build? And so you have to tell them when you're, paying and before you even get in there, which one you want to build. And there's one of 4, and it's basically, I don't know the real names. So it's basically the Jedi one, the Sith one, I think it's the nature one.
Yeah. No.
And then there's a another one, and I can't think of what it is, but it's kind of in between the nature and the Jedi. Mm-hmm. But so anyway, so I of course did the Jedi one, and because that's who I am. And then right. so they give you a pin to let the people inside Savi's workshop know which one you're going to build. Oh, so you have to wear it. They're like, you got to put it on. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's why. Because honestly, I saw you come out of there beaming with you wearing your pin, and I'm like, and to me, it struck me as odd. It doesn't seem like you to put on a pin, so I didn't realize you had to.
I took it off as soon as I was done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, anyway, so then I went. They're like, okay, you can go in with this group. And so I went in, and I don't know if you want me to tell you anything about it or just skip over it.
Well,
I don't want to ruin it, because it's actually a really cool experience. So I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you experience it, and then we can talk about it. But it's very cool. So it's $200. You get a lightsaber, you get the experience, and you get a holder for the lightsaber. Mm-hmm. Now, you can debate whether it's worth that or not. If you look at prices for other things, other experiences, both in Harry Potter world, in Universal, and in Star Wars land, I don't think $200 is that excessive. I mean, it's up there, but you are building your own lightsaber, and let me tell you something. It's a hefty lightsaber.
I was going to say, because I mean, obviously you can go to Target and get some $12 toy thing. This isn't that. This is more in line with, quite honestly, I've seen things that were like reproductions at like Star Wars Celebration and stuff that were in the hundreds of dollars that were just like the handle itself that were in there. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that extreme.
Yeah. So I got it, and it was I did get the green.
Yeah, it was the wrong crystal, choice.
So
that was the wrong choice.
So mine by default it's green, but after the experience in building it, we went to what's it called? You know it. It's
Doc Undar's.
Doc Undar's.
Yeah. See, if you read the comics, you'd know that.
I know. Yeah. So anyway, there you can buy different color kyber crystals, and the kyber crystal determines what color your blade is on the lightsaber. Mm-hmm. So I bought the other ones that were available. So I got red, purple, and blue. In addition to the green.
Have you used them all? So how much were those each, if you don't mind me asking?
$15 each.
Wow. So another you started to get close to $300 with that
$45.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So
I don't know. We might have been pretty close, maybe.
Oh no! I as I'm saying all this, I definitely did spend more than you because I forgot about my final purchase. So.
Oh right, I forgot about your final purchase.
So anyway,
all right, we'll talk about that.
So anyway, so I got those, and then I think we were pretty much done for Galaxy's Edge.
Well, let me, before we get off the what's his name? What's it called? Savi's Workshop?
Savi's Workshop, yes.
Yeah, so without giving things away. So, but I mean, generally the idea is you're taken in as a group and you're kind of walked through the age-old process of creating a lightsaber for yourself, right? Yes. Like roughly how long, like for my $200, how much entertainment is it? Like a 2-minute thing, a 20-minute thing? What's like how long is that thing?
I think it's about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Between 10 and 15. I mean, it's definitely not, they're not rushing you at all. Like it's definitely hands-on. They allow, I want to say 12 builders in, plus one person,
right?
For each, so about 24 people are in there.
And of course, you took me because I'm your best friend and podcast.
I offered,
co-host,
and you're like, oh no, go with your family. I'm like, all right, but
no, you offered me to go go spend money to go build a lightsaber.
No. I said, do you want to go in with me?
Oh, I didn't know that you were asking. Yeah, I would have I would have kicked your kids out of there.
I said you're right here. It was me and you. My kids weren't anywhere around.
You meant, do I want to go spend $200?
No, I was texting Tammy to tell her, hey, I'm going to do it.
You were unclear.
So give me time. Chris and I are going to do it.
No, you know what? It was better. Your son got to go with you. That's how it should have been anyway. Yeah, that's all right. Next time we go, then I'll see if I want to spend the money. All right. Anyway, I misunderstood you, or you were unclear. I'll say you were unclear. All right, so you did that. Fine. We did that.
I was in character.
Talk about something else. You were in character. Okay.
Although from that guy, we did find out that the Black Spire where it was. Like
that's true.
Yeah,
because I thought it was just like the Black Spires.
Right.
But no, there is actually one specific spire that the place is named after. Such nerds. Such delicious nerdery. All right, so you were out of money, right? You used all your tokens at the arcade.
Sure.
And then what happened?
Yep. So then we pretty much left Galaxy's Edge for, at least for me, for the time being.
You know, there's one, before we leave Galaxy's Edge, there's one, I can't believe I'll say this. There's one aspect to the theming there that there probably is no rational answer for, but I really feel like I need one. Did you notice coming in to the land that you went through a clearly man-made or some sort of alien-made tunnel that was like carved out? And I don't know why, but it really struck me. I'm like, I want to know why, like, because they could have made it like you're just walking through like a path or a mountain pass or something. They could have made it lots of ways, but they specifically made it because it almost looked like it was a hidden thing. So I don't know if you ever see anything that kind of talks about why, or how, that entrance was made. I'd love to know that. It's a dumb little thing that just like everything else I could kind of figure out kind of roughly what the story might have been, but it seemed like there was some like if this was just a natural place where people gathered to sell things, why was this kind of entrance needed? But just curious.
Okay.
All right, you have no answer. All right, so we finally had enough of Galaxy's Edge. We left.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But no more money was spent, right? All the money was spent at that point.
So then y'all left.
Yeah. At that point I had enough. It was time, even though I enjoyed seeing you guys. It was time for us to get out of the park. So yeah, we started.
And then I went and put the lightsaber in in my car, and then I went back in. And so we did Star Tours, Muppet Vision, Rock and Roller Coaster, while my daughter and I did Rock and Roller Coaster, while my wife and son did Toy Story Mania, the Midway Mania, or what's it called? Is that it? I don't know. Yeah. And then we had dinner, and then me and the kids and I went back to Galaxy's Edge at dusk, and I tried to get some pictures, but there were too many people in the hanging around, and I couldn't get any good shots. So did that, and then we went through Toy Story Land. I wanted to get some night shots there as well, and I got a couple. And we rode Alien Swirling Saucers, which
how was that?
We waited 10-15 minutes, and that is absolutely the maximum you should ever wait for that.
All right.
It's just like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree in Disneyland. I know you haven't been on that either, but
okay, it's just like that thing you've never seen before.
It's the same thing. I mean, it's cute. It's especially for kids. I mean,
well, and that's why I'm asking, because my son's not he's not going to do roller coasters, so he won't even go on like Slinky Dog Dash. But I could get him on the Alien Saucers thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, if it's later, you just go at night, and 15 minutes. That's a good wait.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of the thing? Alien Saucer what? What's it called?
Alien Swirling Saucers.
Did they not appreciate the abbreviation that everyone would use that for that ride?
I mean, I use the acronym over and over, and my kids thought it was so funny. So I don't know, man. I guess it's just me.
Should have given that some thought. Anyway, or they did.
Well, just like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, somebody didn't put the pencil to the paper on that one either.
I gotta say that one never occurred to me until you pointed that out. So
yeah, well,
anyway.
So then we were whooped. So we left, but on our way out, I don't know if you know this, but on Hollywood Boulevard there is a Galaxy's Edge, the official Galaxy's Edge store, where they do have merchandise that says Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge and all that good stuff.
I didn't know that, and we saw all the signage for that as we came in, but my mind was so like, I'm going to Galaxy's Edge. I just thought it was promotional for the thing. I didn't read it as, hey, this is a shop where you can buy Galaxy's Edge merchandise. Also not thinking that they don't have all the stuff in Galaxy's Edge because you're not in a theme park. You're on Batu. And so, anyway, so what did I miss? Was there good stuff in there that I should have dropped another grand on?
Well, so this is what put me over the top. Because I had forgotten about it. I remember it from when Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge opened, and I wanted it then. And then so we walk in. So my son, daughter, and I walk in. My wife was actually waiting for us in another store. But we walk in, and they have a DJ Rex running around in the store. So a little bitty robot. I say a little bitty. He's about maybe 15 inches tall.
Oh, that's okay. Smaller than the ones at the Droid Depot.
Well, it's about the same size as the ones in the Droid Depot.
Roughly. Yeah, I guess that's right.
And so
when you say running around,
one of the cast members
hold on.
Okay.
Not everybody's the nerd that you and I might be.
Yeah.
So what is this character? Because he doesn't sound familiar from Star Wars. So what is he?
Yeah, DJ Rex. So he was the pilot for Star Tours.
Oh yeah.
And
prior to C-3PO.
Yes, prior to C-3PO.
Okay, all right.
He is canon. He's still canon.
Oh, okay.
And so he has been reprogrammed as a DJ. So he is working in Batu in the cantina. And so he is the DJ. And they got Paul Rubens to do the voice again.
Uh-huh.
So he's there spinning tunes. And so anyway, so I've always loved Rex from the Star Tours days.
Okay.
And so anyway, so we went into the store and the cast member was running him around. He's remote control. And he spins around and he can move his arms and all that good stuff. And then he's also Bluetooth speaker, so you can
how demeaning
connect your phone to him and play music.
Well, yeah,
through
he's a
him.
DJ. Yeah, of course.
So he has a bunch of sayings and all kinds of fun stuff. So he's cute. And so I bought him. So.
And is he out proudly DJing in your home somewhere, or what?
He is. He is in our front room right now, just sitting there because my son loves running him around. So
yeah. Awesome.
He can spin around in a circle in place, which is cool. Yeah. So
that's fun. And it sounds like he was probably pretty cheap because Bluetooth speakers.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's cheap.
Dime a dozen.
So he's a bargain price of $150. So
yeah, I think we're pretty close. Just roughly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I think we're roughly pretty close. That's funny.
So anyway, so I got him, and then we headed out. And so wrapping up my trip, we went back to the hotel. We were hot, exhausted, but we did went into the pool for a few minutes.
Smart.
Went up to bed. We all crashed, and then we drove back to New Orleans Monday, all day Monday. So it literally was one day we were in Orlando in the park.
You know, that is just deliciously insane. I'll put it that way, because that's one of those things that you and your family will talk about forever. Like, remember that time that Dad got that crazy hair up his butt and we went down there, and So, but what was the family's general review of that craziness once because you guys got back like on a Sunday, and I would assume they had to go back to school the next day and stuff. So everybody must have been really wiped.
Yeah, it was Labor Day. We drove back, so it was Monday night, and everybody went back to school and work Tuesday morning, like we never missed a beat.
Yeah. So no regrets. Was anybody like, oh, that was stupid?
No. Everybody had a great time. We did stop at Buc-ee's on the way back.
Well, thank God.
I know everybody was waiting with bated breath to find out if we actually went there or not.
I'm sure.
And then, but no, it was a lot of fun. Everybody had fun. Megan, who doesn't really love Star Wars, really enjoyed the land, which surprised me. But she said, no, it was a lot of fun. Just being there. I think it was the exploration of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Something new. And
that's what I was saying before. It's like, even if, like, because it's not all the movie settings that you would know necessarily. It doesn't scream Star Wars, at least not to me. But it seems like it'd be enjoyable even if you're not a Star Wars fan. So
yeah,
to your point.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my son had a great time. And I certainly had a great time, and I think Tammy did too. And it was just, as you said, I mean, it was togetherness, right? It was something we all did together, and it was our first time for all of us. So it wasn't like we were, had been there a million times and bringing our kids there for the first time.
Right.
It was the first time for all of us, and so we were all equal on an equal footing, and we were trying to figure things out together, which was really cool too. So
yeah. Well, for selfish reasons, I'm extremely glad you guys made the trip, and I hope this just says, hey, another long weekend sometime. Let's do the same thing. We'll see. I'll see if I can keep pressuring you for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I really enjoyed it, and it was 10 times better that you guys were there the same weekend, and we got to kind of see the new land that you and I both thought was going to be a long time before we'd get to go set foot in.
No kidding. So, we said that on this podcast a billion times, but so we saw it opening weekend.
Amazing.
Got to use sporks and everything.
Oh, sporks.
As God intended.
Long live the sporks. Space sporks.
That's right.
All right. Well, now I want to go back. I'm excited to go. Like, I want to read. Oh, you're reading the Black Spire book, right? Are you still in the middle of that? Or?
Yeah, we're about a third of the way through. I need to get back to it.
Yeah, I'm not quite that far in, but at least starting off pretty good.
So far, so good. I mean, I don't know what it is
Star Wars
about
books are not
Star Wars novels, man.
They're not the greatest literature, but
no.
For me, it's just getting to hear because even the main character Vi, whatever, I don't remember what her last name is, but she was walking around the place there. So clearly an important piece of literature for the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. All right. Is that a wrap?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, it's late over here, man. I don't know what time it is where you are, but
it's like
time
to get up to go get in line and go to Galaxy's Edge.
No kidding.
Or as they say in Batu, till the spires, Glenn. Till the spires.
Till the spires.
I don't know what that means exactly.
Me either. I'm just following your lead.
Until the spires, what? Till they fall down? Till they? What? I don't know what. But it's a weird. What's the opposite of a greeting? A farewell? It's a weird farewell.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Till the spires. All right. Cool. Well, I'll catch you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Starport 75. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Facebook at Starport75 and Instagram at TheStarport75. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at Starport75.com.